What's going on, everybody? This is Drew here. I want to welcome you all to a brand new episode of Phoenix Down. This is Phoenix Down 116.1, and we are continuing our playthrough of Yakuza 6, The Song of Life. Today I have with me Matt.
Hello.
And yeah, it's been 2 weeks. We took a week off. I was on vacation last week. But we are back. We did 3 chapters this playthrough. I know we said we were probably going to do 2. We may end up having to do 3 because this will become a long series if we don't. But I have been deliberately trying to take my time with it. I'm doing the side stuff because I didn't do any of it in 3, 4, and 5. So I wanted to at least experience some of it. Some of which I'm actually glad I did. Some of this stuff is actually kind of fun. Or funny, I should say.
I made the mistake of trying to do one that put me down a bit of a rabbit hole that I couldn't actually do anyway.
Oh, really? What's that one?
I don't know, really. It was just some guy in the last chapter we played that wanted some tonkatsu ramen.
Oh, the guy who's injured? The
Yep.
trainer?
Yep, guy who's injured, so I'm like, alright, you want some, you got some. And I went to every single shop I could find, running all over the map. Couldn't find it anywhere, and I'm like, alright, I hate this. Let me look it up. Where do I find it? Must be some stand that's hidden away. And they're like, well, you can't do it until you go back to Tokyo to buy this ramen, and then bring it back. Well, okay. Well, I guess I'm going to stop running around looking for it, because it's not in Hiroshima.
Yeah, that's the military dude who can train you. The one where you have fights with him and he pulls out a machine gun. Yeah, I ran into the same guy. I think you have to run into that guy. I don't know.
I think you do.
But so speaking of where we're at with Chapter 3, we are in Hiroshima. Is it Hiroshima or Hiroshima?
I think Hiroshima.
Hiroshima. We're quickly becoming caught up with the very beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Where Kiryu is in the bar, he gets accosted by a dude, and we see the baby. Okay, well we know about the baby. We got the baby with us. We've taken the baby to Hiroshima to find the baby's father, potentially. Figure out where Haruko went, why she went there, if anybody knows her.
Is it just me, or do you think the baby's a little funny looking? Haruko was kind of a cute baby, but Haruto...
Haruto looks like... Haruto is only supposed to be a year old, but it looks like they tried to model a 3-year-old, but also gave it a baby's body.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is weird. It reminds me of sometimes when we've seen, I don't even remember where it was, but there was like the old person's face on like a child's body.
Oh, that was Lost Odyssey.
Yeah.
It was like the ladies in waiting.
Yeah, I think this is a lady in waiting as a child.
It's creepy.
Yeah, it is creepy. I've also, it's October, it's horror month, so I've been watching a lot of horror movies, but also a lot of horror movie trailers, and I've watched a lot of the Child's Play trailers. So as soon as I went back to the game, I'm like, oh, this baby's going to pick up a knife, I know it.
I guarantee you, I know how Yakuza is. That baby is going to do something to help Kiryu in a fight. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. But yeah, so we're now we kidnapped a child and went across the country.
Man on the run.
Yep. And he's basically just trying to gather intel. And see if anybody knows Haruka. And so we just started like checking out different places, but ask people around in bars and stuff like that. And so I was we went into a bar, and we met Kiyomi. Kiyomi is the woman from the very beginning of the game, who's the bartender. But this is where we're in familiar territory. We know this. Look at this bar. We know the guy sitting at the bar. We know the bartender. But now we get to meet them officially. And the guy sitting at the bar is a Yakuza. He's like a local Yakuza guy.
A loudmouth.
He's definitely a loudmouth. And he has it out for Kiryu for some odd reason. I think it's because he's jealous, because he has a crush on Kiyomi. But this guy is Nagumo. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Nagumo.
Nagumo or Nagamo?
Nagamo. Yeah, I'm not sure which.
But yeah, he's not happy with Kiryu, but Kiyomi takes a liking to the baby. And we basically have the whole beginning of the game playing out.
Yeah, he's a little harder, but not much.
Yeah. But yeah, we go back to the bar, and we're asking everybody, has anybody ever seen this girl? We got a picture of Haruka. Everybody's like, no, never seen her before. Okay, well, she must have been here at some point, because the cell phone said that the picture that was taken was at Hiroshima. But yeah, we have no place to stay. But luckily, and this is what confused me. I thought the bartender at New Serena was named Mama. I thought that's what they called her. But apparently that's just a name for a female bartender?
Yeah, I noticed that as well. I'm like, oh, I wonder if this is some kind of unofficial honorific type situation.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, Kiyomi's like, all right, I know somebody who could probably help you out in finding a place to stay for the night. And we meet up with, I don't even know his name. He was a fisherman. He has a couple of apartment buildings on the basically the pier.
Oh yeah.
And he also gives us a little bit more context while we're walking to the apartment, that he, Kiyomi, and Nagamo were like high school friends, and they both kind of had a crush on her, but she decided against both of them, kind of thing. But yeah, but he is a Yakuza. So, and I feel like the Yakuza in this town are a little different. I would say they're not as well organized. At least the family that he's with is not very well organized. It's almost like just a group of punks decided to form a gang and then join up as a family kind of thing.
Bit of a boys' club.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy's name was Ino. Oh, yeah, no.
Ino. But yeah. But he takes us to the apartments. We now have a base of operations. This is where we'll be staying for a while.
Another bit of a shanty. Kiryu stayed in a lot of not so nice places.
Yeah, a couple of rough places, but he always makes it. But we have bigger problems on our hands. Haruto. Baby's not happy, and we can't figure out why. Crying. Figure, okay, well, we've changed your diaper. That's not going to do anything. Why are you so mad? Are you hungry? You got to be hungry, right? Let's go find some milk or some baby formula. But at night, this town shuts down.
Yeah, it's definitely a small town. I think they do that really well. It feels so much different than Kamurocho, right? It doesn't have that exciting life like it does. It does feel shut down. Everything's dark. You know, you've got it's a bit more shabby. Like I think they capture this being a a small kind of fishing village really well.
Absolutely. So the thing is that, and you hit it on the head. There's very few people walking the streets at night. While in Camarocho, you're just running into everybody. And I love the look of this town.
Yeah, me too.
It has like an old feel to it. In fact, there's even like monuments you can click on and read like poems and stuff like that on it. They have this beautiful like little cemetery looking area with a temple. But then they also have like the modern stuff with like the train and the bars and stuff like that. So it's actually really cool. I love the look of this town. So we got to figure out a way to calm the baby. He's very upset right now, and for the life of me, it took me forever to figure out how to actually do this. The baby will eventually get to the point where you have to calm him, and you go into first person mode, and you have to either raise him up or swing him back and forth or stuff like that. Rub his head. And apparently he makes motions that will show you what he wants. And it took me forever to figure it out. And the problem was it was happening every like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
I couldn't walk anywhere.
Yeah, the first time I did it, I like pacified Haruto just randomly. You know, I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'll just pick one, and it worked enough times that he was happy. Then the second time I failed, I'm like, well, I did something as quickly as I could every time, so obviously I'm not hitting there's a pattern here that I didn't recognize. So then the third time I was able to kind of figure it out. Like, he kind of goes side to side when you're supposed to go side to side, so I'm like, all right, he does give you those hints.
Yeah. So we go on a wild goose chase, going here to there, looking for baby formula. Eventually, we're told that somebody had just recently had a baby, so maybe they can help you out. So we go and do that. I have to fight a dude. I remember he was like drunk and just like pissing in the street.
Yeah.
and Kiryu's like, Jesus, and just beats the hell out of him.
Yeah,
but
the peeing drunk.
The peeing drunk. But that's it. After that, get the milk and feed him, and he goes to bed. So we go back to the bar the next morning, and now this is during daytime. And I was thinking, how are we supposed to do this? Because there's bad guys, and I'm like, how does this work? Do we fight with a baby in our arms?
Yeah. Yeah, because when you're running around the streets, he's carrying him.
Yeah. So what ends up happening is if you do get into a fight with somebody, he hands the baby off to a random person.
Yeah, if Kiyomi's not around, then it's just a stranger.
Yeah. But yeah. So go back to the bar. And I can't remember what happens from here. I know the baseball team. Is that what happens?
That's the next piece. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The Ino is looking for a person because somebody called out. Apparently, they take baseball really seriously in this town. But somebody called out, and they're missing a player. So they come up with the bright idea of like, well, Kiryu, you owe me one because you're using my apartment. So why don't you just join my baseball team for the game and just, we'll put you in the outfield. It'll be easy. Of course, we go there. The other team's there. Oh, look who it is.
Yeah,
it's the Yakuza boys. And they're all like, oh, we got it in for him. Or we're gonna beam him with every baseball we can. And I actually really liked this because everybody's dressed up in baseball uniforms.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a schoolyard brawl or something.
Yeah, and I like he just gets kind of fed up with it and rushes the mound.
Yeah, pretty
Basically,
much.
after he gets hit one last time, right?
Yep. Because Kiryu's like, I don't give a shit. Come and hit me. I don't care. And then he's like, all right, fine, we're doing it. And we have, I would call it a boss fight because it took a while. The three guys. So for the life of me, I couldn't name you the rest of the dudes in this little family. I couldn't.
Yeah, there's the thick jawed guy that runs the nightclub.
Yep.
There's the really, really thin guy.
Yep. And then there's the heavy set guy.
Yep, with the hair.
Yeah, with the hair.
With the shaved sides.
Yep. And the thick jawed guy has like a pompadour little hairstyle.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we have a fight with three of them. Luckily, we're able to beat those guys. And God, I can't remember after that. Like I'm sorry, I did this 2 weeks ago. Do you remember?
Yeah, I think after that it cuts to later that day, and that's when you end up seeing the inside of their clubhouse. So you end up trying to follow them back to their clubhouse, and then you talk to the patriarch.
Okay, the older man.
Yeah.
Who seems
A little vacant.
a little senile, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must be
Just
intentional. Yeah.
I feel like, yeah.
Everyone else has that kind of killer instinct. I mean, generally in the Yakuza, I mean, this group is a bit of a club of misfits anyway, but, certainly he's not any kind of a strict leader.
Yeah. So, yeah. We meet with him. Or no, we don't meet with him yet.
Yeah, I don't think we meet with him yet. I think this is when the suits come in and they take Nagumo and they head up the hill, and so this is when you're still his enemy, but you kind of follow after them.
That's right.
And you're like, well, I don't like him, but I like him better than these, the Yakuza suits.
Yeah. So this is, oh God, I can't remember the name of this family.
Masuzoe?
Yeah. So the Masuzoe are basically what ended up happening. Was it the nightclub incident, or is that after this?
I think that's after.
Okay.
I think this was just when they came in and they took him, and then you have to track them down, and they're up by the, like an overlook, up by the temple area.
Right. But yeah, they're gonna try to send a message because he's a screw up.
And they're beating him.
Yep. And Kiryu's like, all right, that's enough. So we have a boss fight with him, and he's kind of a sleazeball. He acts more like a Yakuza than the rest of these guys do.
Yeah.
And he had some weird moves. Like he was like a fast character.
Yeah. A lot of quick strikes, and it was a little bit of a strange area as well because there was some posts around there, and you got Nagumo off on the side.
Yeah. But
one of my biggest problems is that in a lot of these fights here, I don't know, I guess not being in Kamurocho, I'm just not thinking boss fights, so I guess I also haven't had a lot of money, so I haven't had a abundance of health drinks.
I haven't either.
I've only ever had 2 or 3. I think when I stock up, I might have 6 or 7, but I've kind of used them throughout some of the bigger fights, so I've definitely not been full, even remotely full in my inventory.
No, I definitely haven't either. I haven't bought much of anything. I have bought some food and some of that's helped out in a pinch. But for the most part, I found myself not needing it. Later on in this play session, I definitely glad I did purchase some because it was getting pretty rough. Which luckily they did kind of tell you toward the end here of like, hey, are you ready? That kind of thing.
Yeah, when they give you that double check, I'm like, well, I felt ready, but now that you're asking me if I'm ready, I feel way less ready. Let me go buy some drinks.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, after beating up those guys, saving Nagamo's butt, he takes us back to his little clubhouse and is basically telling everybody, this is my anarchy. Now, if you remember, in Yakuza 3, we had another person that was an anarchy. And, well, he's dead now.
Yeah.
So I wonder what's going to happen to this anarchy.
Yeah, I mean, I think they play him well so far in this game in that he's kind of a little bit ridiculous, a little bit embarrassing, a little bit pompous. But I would say generally endearing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's come a little bit close to the borderline of being a bit annoying.
Yes.
But I don't think he's quite crossed that line for me yet. I find it like you can see that he's like just a little bit starstruck by, a big timer from Tokyo coming in and a tough guy, and he clearly wants to be the tough guy, but he isn't. So I feel like even though a lot of the responses are a bit exaggerated, the way he feels about Kiyomi, the way he feels about Kiryu, but they all kind of make sense. Like I feel like his responses fit. So I don't know. Again, he's kind of borderline annoying, but I like him.
Yeah, I would say he acts a lot like, I can't remember the guy from Yakuza 3, what his name was, that died. But he acts a little bit like him. He's kind of goofy, and can still be pretty brash though. He's one of those that's like he talks a big game, but he's actually an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely thinks more of himself than anyone else would.
Yeah. But, yeah. So we go to, we finally go to meet his patriarch. And, I can't remember what that guy's name is. The patriarch of their little family. Old man.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a thing here, and it says played by longtime Yakuza film director Kianto Beat Takashi. Hirose is his name.
Oh yeah, because that's the family.
Yeah, the Hirose. The Hirose family, which is part of the it's part of the, what's the name of the alliance?
The Yumai?
Say it again now.
Is it Yumai?
Yumai Alliance?
I think so.
That's all in Hiroshima?
Yeah. That hasn't ever aligned with the Omi Alliance or the Tojo.
Tojo, yeah. But yeah, we meet with him. He seems a little out of there.
Yeah, what is he doing? He's eating ice cream when you first meet him?
I think so.
Just like a long spoon and just kind of sitting there eating ice cream. You're like, that's not a badass Yakuza activity.
No, not particularly. Trying to think.
Yep, and then you just head downstairs. I feel like this happens a couple of times, maybe at least one too many times in this play session, in this game so far, where you're just sitting in the clubhouse, somebody busts in and says, hey, there's a crisis, can you come help? Yeah. And everybody says yes, and then Kiryu's like, well, maybe you should let me do it.
Yeah, that's right. So this
So
is the one
then
where
this is
it's
the
at the
nightclub,
nightclub.
right? Yep.
Yeah, the nightclub.
Matsunaga is the jaw guy.
Okay,
Big jaw guy.
Matsunaga. Apparently, he's been beating up on some of his patrons, and now they're kind of starting a riot. So we go down there and stop the patrons that he's been hitting from beating the hell out of him. And Matsunaga's not happy about it. He's kind of pissed, and because basically he's like, "This is my club. I run it." And they're like, "No, it's not your club. It's the family's club. We're just letting you work it," kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he likes that, and I don't think he likes the fact that Nagumo is now all up Kiryu's butt.
No. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it right there. We're still. I know we have the cutscene with all the guys saying, "Hey, by the way, I'm looking for this girl, or not looking for her, but do you guys know who this girl is?"
Yeah, and everyone's suspicious about their... Nope, never seen her. Don't know who she is.
Nah, I've never seen that one before. Everybody's very suspicious. These people are obviously lying. And Kiryu knows it, but Kiryu's not leading on. And he's like, okay. I'm trying to look for... that this is her son, and I'm trying to look for the father of this child. And it was like, I don't know. We've never seen her before. Never seen this kid before either. Can't help you. Is this when we run into the
So this is when Kiyomi comes and finds us and says that Masuzoe is looking for us and that we need to hide from them, and so you end up going with her throughout the town over to the shopping mall.
Gotcha. That's right. So yeah, that's basically just staying away from them.
Yeah.
And after walking around the town, we finally make it up to the temple area, and we decide to leave Haruto with her while we go and explore the town. And this was when it kind of opened up where I was like, okay, I'm going to do some sub-stories. Because there was actually a sub-story right there at the temple. And,
the one about the boy and girl?
Yeah, one about the boy and girl. In fact, while that cutscene was playing, she's still sitting up there with Haruto. I was like, okay. But yeah, I did the sub-story with the boy and the girl, where the boy and the girl both fall down some stairs, and then they apparently switch bodies with each other. And I played it off like Kiryu fully believed them.
Yeah. Which is kind of meta weird, right? Because the story itself, it's got its story, but in my mind I'm thinking, did this game just go supernatural for the first time?
I don't think this game ever goes supernatural.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that we fight bears and bulls and stuff like that.
Yeah. Before we started the first game, my thought was that this was going to be like Big Trouble in Little China. It's definitely not.
Oh, is that what you thought?
Yep. I knew so little about it. I'm like, all right, this is, I love that movie. This game will be awesome.
So we're gonna have ancient wizards.
Yep. I expected some ancient wizards.
No, nothing like that. This is grounded in reality for the most part. But yes, so the boy and the girl claim to have switched bodies, but they really just trying to trick the girl's dad into allowing the boyfriend to be around her. But then kind of found out the dad knew all along that it was fake, and he was pretending to be mad about it and wanted to see how far that they would actually go to be together. So that was their lesson learned, I guess. This deception thing happens multiple times. So that one. Then I ran into the girl who wants to be a idol. Did you do that one?
I did not, actually.
So that's actually a really good one because there's a huge comparison between Haruka and this girl.
Yeah.
She wants to be a idol. She has a manager. Her manager says, "Okay, well, we're going to go to Tokyo for this. You need to cut all ties with everybody." And Kiryu hears this, and she's like, "Well, I have one person that I don't want to cut ties with. It was the guy I fell in love with." And she's like, "But he doesn't know that I care about him that much." And so it's like, "Well, go tell him how you feel and see what he says." And it's a multiple stage thing where she goes and does something and then you have to come back later kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it happens twice. But then come to find out the boyfriend or the guy she has a crush on, she's telling him some gang members come up and start harassing him. The guy runs away because he's a coward, and you beat up the guys. The manager comes up and says, "I actually hired those guys to pretend to beat up everybody." And then the boyfriend comes back and says, "No, I actually pretended to be a coward." So it would make the girl go to Tokyo and forget about me. But then the girl's like, "Oh, I heard all of this. I still love you because
no, I care even more.
I care more because you would be willing to give up our relationship for me to be an idol." And so it's just like back and forth, back and forth. I was like, "What is going on here?"
Yeah.
And then there was one I did where I had to pretend to be a mascot.
Oh, I didn't even see that one.
Oh, it's fantastic. You dress up as like a little mascot with like a big head and gloves and the whole 9 yards. And this guy's like, "Okay, well, you got to be friendly to the kids." So the kids come and you got to say the catchphrase and do the poses and stuff like that. And then a bunch of gang members come and harass us and make fun of us. And they make the kids cry. So Kiryu beats the hell out of them. And then he does more poses and stuff. And it saves the day. It makes the town look nice because it's the mascot of the town, apparently.
What is he a mascot of? Is it like an animal?
No, it's like a fisherman, but with like a big head, and he has like a catchphrase. It's weird. It's weird, but it's actually pretty funny because you beat up all the guys like wearing the mascot outfit. It's actually pretty good. I did that one. I did a few of those troubler things too.
Yeah, I did too.
I feel like those are useless.
Yeah, they're not particularly interesting.
No, none of them are interesting, and also you don't get much experience because of it.
Yeah.
To be fair, you know what I want to do? I want to go back to freaking Kamurocho and work out more. Because the amount of gains I got from that was fantastic.
Yeah.
But, I can't do that here.
Do you know if any of that stuff scales, right? Like, the more you level up in the game, the less valuable, like, 50 blue points are, or body points, or whatever they are.
I have no idea. That's a good question, though. Do you get diminishing returns after a while?
Yeah, is it much better to do that stuff early?
That's a good question. I don't know. So yeah, I did a whole bunch of sub-stories here. Apparently, you can start both baseball and spearfishing. I didn't know any of those. I knew baseball was in this game, but I didn't know how to initiate it. And I didn't even know spearfishing was in the game.
Yeah, I didn't either.
So... but after that, I can't remember what we're doing. I know we go back and talk to Jaw Dude to, basically tell him sorry. Yeah, sorry for sticking my nose in your business.
Yep. I think that's when we get another one of those. A guy runs in and says, "Hey, the people that jacked us last night were from the shipbuilding company."
Yeah.
The people in the club were from the shipbuilding company.
Yeah. And that's one of the big things they push is like the shipbuilding company. I can't remember what it's called, but
Iwami.
It kind of runs the town. It's like the lifeblood of the town. Like they came in and basically bought up a whole bunch of real estate, and you either are a fisherman or you work for them in this town, kind of thing.
Yep. This is when they leave you behind, right? When they guard you and say you can't get involved, and then you have to fight in the headquarters. You have to fight the other two guys in the Hirose family.
Yeah, you have to fight the guys in the club because.
Oh yeah, that's where they tell you not to leave.
Yeah, they tell us not to leave because apparently what was it? It was they brought in the alliance, the Yami alliance. I think the shipbuilder guys went to them and told them, "Hey, some of your families are beating the crap out of us. You need to handle that."
Yeah, get your house in order.
That's right. And I think try and stop. Like I can't remember what initiated this, but they were like, "Hey, this is going down. I think they're coming into town." And I think they may be going to the headquarters of the family. And Kiryu's like, "All right, well, I'm going to go down there and help them." And he's like, "No, you don't need to get involved in this. These are the top brass guys. We don't need you, screwing this up."
Yeah.
Because I think they claim that they're going to lose pinkies over this.
Yeah, but, Matsunaga was ready to cut off the pinky just to end it, right? He's like, "Look, I don't want this getting any bigger. I'll just cut off a digit, pay my penance."
Yeah. Let's see here. So there's a couple of guys we meet. So the first guy, the first guy we beat up, the fast striking guy, he's there at the headquarters, but also a guy higher than him in the alliance is there. And
the guy with don't want to say shaved head, but stubble.
Yeah, the shaved head dude. I don't know what that guy's name is.
Koshimizu. Yeah.
So he's like a captain in the Yomi Alliance. And they basically brought him there to basically, lay down the law. Well, Kiryu's like, not going to have that. And then, of course, he's like, "Hey, that's that guy that beat me up the other night." So they want to fight. So we fight again with them. Oh, I got to sneeze. Hang on. Excuse me.
And this was like when you have to fight in rounds almost, right? Like you beat up the lackeys, and then you're beating on him, and then all of a sudden they get back up and you fight him again.
He does like a small cutscene of like, "Get up, you idiots," So we got to take out him.
Which always makes me think, every time something like that happens, it makes me think about how many people are actually dying in these games. Because so many of these, like, every time you attack somebody, or maybe not every time, but most of the time you attack somebody, they clearly look like death-dealing blows. Like when you're bashing somebody's head with a motorcycle, right? There's no way someone survives that. But then, oftentimes, regardless of how they go down, sometimes they'll get back up. So I assume the intent is that almost nobody dies in these fights, right?
That's what I'm assuming.
They're just beat up and kind of bewildered and out of commission.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say that Kiryu's not killing everybody. Kiryu has definitely killed some people.
Yeah,
but I don't think.
These routine goons are getting murdered.
No, I don't think so either.
Or else he'd be back in prison for the rest of the series.
But yeah, we don't have a fight with the captain. He basically tells everybody, "All right, this is done. Stop. We're done. We're leaving." And of course, everybody's like, "What the hell are you doing, dude? Like, this is going to look really bad on us." And Kiryu's like, "I don't care. I'm not a part of this, so I don't really care. What are they going to do?" He's not telling them this, but I'm the Dragon of Dojima. What are they going to do? But yeah. Don't know what else happens after that.
Yeah, I feel like that's basically it, right? And then they cut to that night, and Nagamo shows up at your door, and basically I think he's just, because you've helped so much, he's like, all right, now I'll tell you that, we actually did all know Haruka.
That's right. That's right.
She didn't want us to let anyone else knew that she was here, so we didn't tell you.
Oh, yep, that's it. And that's kind of like how that chapter ends.
Yep, and that Haruka worked at Kiyomi's bar.
Yeah, so we know somebody else has been lying to us. Ho, ho, ho. But yeah, so I guess we got to go find her. Got to go talk to her, because she probably knew him the most, knew Haruka the most. So let's go and let's go talk to Kiyomi. But she's nowhere to be found. She's not at the bar. And so we're kind of like running around town trying to find her. And we leave the little baby at the family headquarters so we can go find her.
Yeah, I'm not sure I trust these bumbling idiots to take care of a baby, but
I don't either.
Better than nobody, I guess.
Yeah. But I think, do we get like a message from her saying to meet her somewhere? I can't remember. I think so. Meet her up there at the top of the hill or mountain.
Yeah, we do at some point. Was it this early in the chapter?
I can't remember.
I thought there was a couple of times where they basically just said, all right, time to hit the town.
Yeah.
And then, at least so far in this game, every time they've said that, because usually I roll my eyes at that, I'm like, all right, I need to walk across one specific patch of this map to trigger something. And, how long am I going to waste trying to find that one little spot when they don't give you an indicator?
Yeah.
But they've been good in this game. Basically, the triggers are pretty big. Like, as long as you're walking, you're going to hit it. It's usually at like a main intersection or something.
And they do a pretty good job of just saying, just walk in this direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I do appreciate. They do that a lot in this game, and I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, there haven't been too many points where I've just been completely, bewildered and not knowing at all what to do.
Yeah. So we have the new side quest, the new thing we got to do here, because I remember this part. So we run back into Justice, if you remember, at the in Kamurocho, the crime fighting gang.
Yep.
But
where apparently there were thousands of them.
Yeah, but these guys are just randomly beating up on a dude, and we're like, whoa, wait a minute. So we beat them up, and they're like, yo, you don't know who we are. We're Justice. We're doing the right thing. And Kiryu's like, I thought you guys were supposed to be good guys. Why are you just beating up on this guy? Well, come to find out, the guy that they were beating up on, his name is Joe, was one of the founding members of Justice back in the day.
Yep.
And he left because he didn't like the way Justice was being ran, which basically turned into just a classic gang rather than a crime-fighting gang. And, now Justice has it out for him. It's going so far that he moved back to Hiroshima, and they're sending people from Tokyo to kill him or beat him up or whatever. I don't know. I guess try to kill him.
Yeah, I guess. It's a long way to send somebody just to beat somebody up and then leave.
Yeah, that's true. I guess they're trying to kill him. This kind of kicks off the other side story thing that we can do, mechanic-wise, where it was introduced in a different game. I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah.
I remember doing something like this before, but it's basically like you're commanding your army to go fight.
Yeah, I like how it was tied in here because they're like, we want you to lead us. You're a leader.
Yeah.
And Joe's like, I'm not doing that again. I'm not doing that anymore. So they pull Kiryu in for that, and then now you get this other view where you're directing the clan, the group on how to act. I'm like, oh, at least it fits with the story.
Yeah.
It doesn't all, I feel like some of these changes in the series are a bit out of left field, but this one I thought made a lot more story sense.
Yeah, definitely. So Kiryu is we can deploy guys who will then run up to this, section, this army, and you can choose different types of units. You got the brawlers, you got the tanks, you got, and you also have your special units like Joe and some of his buddies. They all have special abilities that you can use. And there's like win and lose conditions and stuff like that. And I'm probably going to explore a little bit of it, but I think that may fall to the wayside for me. I'm not sure.
Because I was like, oh, this is super fun. It's so different.
Well, it is definitely different.
There's not been anything tactical or no strategy whatsoever needed basically in Yakuza, right? It's just a brawl. So to have something like this feels a lot like I have a lot more control than the last time we saw it a few games ago.
Yeah.
That almost felt as much like a tower defense game. This feels more like a RTS or something.
Yeah, you're right. It does feel like a kind of like a RTS or like what was that? Dawn of War, the Warhammer games. Feels a lot like that. But yeah, so we can do that. And but we're basically creating our own clan essentially. And Kiryu, they're like, okay, you're going to be our boss. So what do you want to call it? I said, why don't we call it the Kiryu clan?
Yeah, they come up with a couple ridiculous names first.
Yeah, and they're like, whoa, Kiryu clan, that sounds a lot like a Yakuza. Do we want to be associated with something like that? And Kiryu's like, I have experience with it.
Yeah, and then he makes some other comment about, I'm going to run it the way I know how to run it.
Yeah.
So, a couple of different times they hint that this might be more Yakuza-like than they're expecting.
Yeah. Which I think I may need to do some of this because I feel like this is going to become part of the story eventually. They spend a lot of cutscenes talking about this, including after this, we get the cutscenes of like the evil supergroup of justice. Where like they're all standing around talking. And they're like, there's the strategist, there's the money man, there's this guy, there's the leader, and I was like, oh boy, so we're going to run into all these guys.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And then what is it, the 6 or the 7 leaders or the 6 leaders?
Yeah. So I think I may have to do some of this because I have a feeling they're going to force us to fight these guys probably.
Yeah.
But there is a mechanic where you can go around town and you can run into guys who are, quote, powerful enemies. And if you beat them, they will join your clan.
I haven't done that yet, but I would like to spend a little time doing it.
Yeah, I did. I recruited one guy, I know. So.
There's also other baseball sub-stories. I haven't done any of those yet either.
I haven't done anything regarding baseball. I know in Yakuza 6 you start your own baseball team.
You start a clan and a baseball team. Oh, he's a busy guy, and he's only quote unquote passing through.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure you start your own because I remember seeing. I've mentioned this before. There was just a screenshot of the game, and somebody said this is the most Yakuza screenshot I've ever seen, and it was Kiryu standing talking to a guy, and it said, "Okay, I'll get the squid for you." But if I do, you have to join my baseball team.
I love it. I can't wait to see that exact screen.
Yeah, right? So,
the 6 lunatics.
The 6 lunatics. The 6 lunatics. There you go. They look dumb. Yeah. All of them do. It looks like, like campy stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. Um,
They all make me think of Bebop and Rocksteady.
yeah, it looks like Ninja Turtle villains or something like that.
Yeah. Like, they're going to be dopey. And they're going to come in, like, thinking they're great and thinking they're important. And they're not going to be anything big.
So back to the main story. We somehow we get like a message or something, or saying for us to meet her. I can't remember where, but or when. But Kiyomi is up at the top of the mountain. There's a big hotel up there too, and she wants to come talk to us, or wants us to come talk to her. So we go and talk to her, and she basically says, "Yeah, it's true. Haruka was here 3 years ago. She was working for me. Everybody in town finally caught on to who she was, but nobody ever brought it up. Nobody ever mentioned it. They just treat her like she was a local. I felt bad for her, so I gave her a job at my bar, a place to stay, that kind of thing. And she became good friends with the local Yakuza. And then one day, she just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, she was super sad at the beginning. She got happier and happier over time, but then one day she had a real bad day, and then the next day she was gone.
Yep. And
so what happened?
I think Kiryu speculated it was probably the day she found out she was pregnant.
Yep.
And she left town after that. And Kiryu's like, do you have any idea who could possibly be her father, or be the father? And she's like, I don't know, but there is somebody. Unfortunately, we're interrupted before she can tell us. Guy yells out to us. We turn around, and there's multiple Yakuza standing around, but also the Tojo clan second in command, I would say now.
Yeah, feels that way.
Yeah. What was his name again? I can't remember.
Someya?
Someya. That's right, Someya. The young guy.
Yep, the young guy who's all about money over fist power.
Yes.
As the new order of the Yakuza.
And so he comes and talks to us. He's like, what the heck are you doing here, Kiryu? And he's like, just no reason. Curious of why you're here, though. And he's like, well, I'm here to speak with the Alliance. We're coming to talk negotiations. He's like, really? You're going to talk negotiations with a Yakuza family or a Yakuza clan that has never moved out of this town? And he's like, yep. And he also mentions as if he knows Kiyomi. And
calls her by name.
Calls her by name. And says, I'm surprised. He's like, I kind of figured you'd move back here, is what he said. But we kind of leave it at that. I don't know why you're here. Well, I don't know why you're here either.
He tries to touch her. She pulls away. Definitely a history.
Definitely a history. But we leave it at that. Go back to the headquarters. Once again, somebody busts in saying, hey, bad things are happening. Kiyomi, somebody grabbed her. Like, it was like a bunch of Yakuza guys busted into her bar, pulled her out, and took her. And Kiryu's like, what's going on? Everybody's like, what's going on? And he's like, didn't look like any of our guys. It looked like Tojo clan guys. Kiryu's like, I know who this is.
Their leader was young.
Yeah, the leader was young. So Kiryu's like, I know who that is. I know where they are. They're in the hotel up on the mountain. They're like, okay, well, we're going to have to go in there and rescue her. And Kiryu's like, well, I'm going with you. They're like, no, you can't. I was like, well, you can't go either. What are you going to do, start a Yakuza war? If a rival family comes in and tries to beat up a bunch of guys from the Tojo clan. Guess what? Tojo clan is going to cause an all-out war.
Yeah, especially when they're here under, like, per invitation.
Yeah. So Kiryu's like, okay, well, I don't know what to do. But the boss comes. Good old man.
Yeah, after Nagumo's like, well, I'll just leave the family then. I'll do whatever it takes to save Kiyomi.
Yeah, that's true. He was willing to, like, I'll just leave the family. They'll just say I'm just a rogue dude coming out there. But the boss comes out and he's like, hey, I got these masks. And they're like, why do you have ski masks? He's like, oh, I used to use them all the time whenever I was younger.
When I was beating the crap out of people.
They never caught on either. And they're like, okay. And Kiryu's like, I'm not wearing a damn mask. They're like, yeah, you are. Because everybody knows you've been hanging out with us. So everybody gets dressed up. I like how they have
ski masks.
Suits and ski masks. So and I like one of my favorite things this whole playthrough right here. They bring out a map and they come up with a game plan. They say, okay, we're going to start on the first floor and we're going to search every room. Then we're going to go up to the second floor and we're going to search every room. And then the third floor, fourth floor, and fifth floor. Let's go. Break. Why did you even bring out the map?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point? You're going to bust in there and search everything until you find her. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. It's not a complicated strategy.
Not particularly. So we go. So they pull up in their ski masks and their what looks like tracksuits almost. And start beating up dudes. We're going floor to floor, beating up dudes, going searching everywhere.
Yeah, the first floor, I didn't know you had to punch the doors open.
I kept running into them, and then finally I was just like, and I punched it. Oh, okay, there you go.
Because when you walk up to it, he tries to lock twice, or tries to turn it twice.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't open, so I'm like, all right, well, I'll try the next room. And I did all the rooms that way on the first floor. Got to the end, and I'm like, well, there's no more rooms. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess I need to get into those rooms somehow. And then I saw the door was flashing, so I punched it. And I thought he was going to find an unlocked one at some point, but I guess locked doors don't matter to Kiryu's fists.
Not particularly. You would just keep kicking, keep punching. And this was so before this raid, there was that was the I was a quote point of no return.
Yeah.
It came up twice. Are you absolutely sure you're ready to do this? And I was like, let me go buy some things.
Yeah.
I bought a couple of toughness ZZs. But yeah, we go around floor to floor beating up dudes. Make it to
the spa.
Is it the spa where we hit our first like hard battle?
Yeah, I think so.
I had some hard battles in this.
Yeah, there were. Definitely a couple of guys. They're good at blocking. Also, I feel like I may have said this last time we recorded, but I feel like the weapons in this game are seriously depowered.
Why do you say that?
Most weapons you only get like 3 hits in and they fall apart, even if it's a fresh sword. I mean, I guess maybe the furniture never really lasted too much more, but definitely in previous games you could swing 4, 5, 6, 7 times with certain items. Here I feel like it's 2 or 3 hits and they all break.
So I feel like I'm going to say this, and I'm not meaning it to say it the wrong way. I feel like you may be playing the game slightly wrong.
Huh.
Are you using your ultimate climax stuff?
Yeah, and when you've got friends there, you can do the 2-person.
Yeah, so not the heat actions. When you pull the right trigger and he kind of bursts, kind of thing.
Turns blue.
Turns blue.
Yeah.
It augments every single attack that you have.
Yeah,
So,
I like it when you go into a bit of beast mode, too.
Yeah.
Where you connect on 2 or 3 hits and then he just goes crazy.
Yeah, so that's part of it. In fact, it kind of reminds me of the old beast style where where if you're attacking and you're close to an item, he automatically grabs a hold of it.
Yeah.
And I feel like the items last slightly longer when you're holding them in the climax mode.
Yeah, I think that would make sense.
And they definitely do more damage. Like, when I went into climax mode, like, even during that last boss fight that I was doing, I was just like, I was wrecking that dude with an item.
Yeah. I probably haven't been in that mode as much because I'm like, I recognize that this is really good and I'm doing a ton more damage, so I'm going to save it for the hardest guys. And then often I'll get through the fights and it won't even, I won't even have used it.
Yeah. So the one thing I will say about Yakuza 6, I've noticed, your heat meter, the 3 orbs, I have 3 orbs, I don't know how many you got.
Yeah, still 3.
The 3 orbs fills up really quickly.
Yeah, it does.
And I feel like this game is really revolving around using your heat actions, using your climax heat, all that kind of stuff. And I've become, I've been being very liberal with it. Just basically like, all right, I'm going to use a heat action here. Or I'm going to just go into climax mode. Even if I've only got 1 orb, go into climax mode, I'll wipe this dude out.
Yeah.
So, and don't forget, you can purchase items that don't fill up your health, but fill up your heat meter. So if you're at a heat meter, just chug a taurine.
Yeah.
Or tauriner. Is that what it's called? Tauriner?
Tauriner and Tauriner Plus.
Yep. And now your heat's back all the way up. Go back into climax mode and just start wailing on them.
Yeah.
That's what I do. In fact, that's probably the best advice I could take. I'm going to start buying more of those so I can just be like, I'm going to wipe the floor with you. I don't care. So
yeah, I think it's a bigger part of this game because it does refill more quickly. Like, right,
yeah.
You're using it a lot more frequently.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we make it to the spa, and we have a pretty big fight here. After beating up all those guys, we can't find who we're looking for. Obviously, we're looking for Soyama. And we go into the main sauna area, and kind of find out he's actually sitting in there in the fog,
in the sauna,
in the steam. Yeah. And he's like, "What are you guys doing here? What can I help you with?" kind of thing.
And this is after Nagumo certainly takes his mask off because he's feeling hot.
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh man, it's too hot in here." And he pulls off his mask. He's like, "Oh, that's better." And then, oh, there he is. And he sees him. He's like, "Oh, I wonder who this could be." And then Kiryu's like, jigs up, takes off his mask. Yeah, it's
no
me.
point anymore.
And I like the fact that he says, "I don't have any desire to fight you right now." And then literally 5 minutes later, we're fighting him. But yeah, he's like, "So where is she?" He's like, "Are you talking about my ex-wife?" And that's when we find out, oh yeah, that's his ex-wife.
Yeah.
He's like, "What does it matter to you? You're an outsider in this place." He's like, "I'm here for her. That's all I want." And so he runs away. He runs away from us. We go after him. He goes up to the 5th floor, which is kind of like the penthouse, and that's where we meet everybody. So we meet with obviously, well, everybody's there. So we got the Yomi Alliance is there. Some of their higher ups. We've actually got the president of the shipbuilding company.
Yeah.
Who's there? And it's revealed pretty quickly that not only is he the owner of the shipbuilding company that basically runs the town, he's also the patriarch of the Yomi Alliance. And they're there for an alliance meeting. They're going to form alliance with the Tojo clan.
One thing I didn't really get here was whether she had been taking forcibly or whether she had gone with them.
I can't tell.
Right, because you were initially definitely told that she was like thrown in a van, but
yeah,
she doesn't really say anything in this section. And she's there eating dinner.
She's also there eating dinner. It doesn't look like she's very distraught.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, so they're like, oh, well, this is perfect timing. Here's the fourth chairman. And they're like, yeah, we're setting up an alliance. But why don't we go someplace a little bit more private to talk about this? And Kiryu's like, I don't want anything to really do with this, but okay. So they go out on...
Yeah.
Or go ahead.
I was just going to say, I like how Kushimizu is aggressive, like, we're going to cut off their pinkies. But then the head of the Iwami shipbuilding company is like, no, let's tone it down here. We got bigger things to do. As long as everyone's okay, let's tone it down a bit.
Yeah. And I think even the captain is like jumping on him. Like, no, shut up. Let it go. We're in a business meeting right now. So they get off kind of, they skate by a little bit because they were in big trouble. They just started a raid with the Tojo clan. But yeah, we go out on a boat for this little meeting, and they said, yeah, we're going to be doing an alliance. We want you to be the witness to it, Kiryu. We're joining forces with the Tojo clan, and since you're the fourth chairman, I feel like it would be very fitting for you to sit in on this and be the witness to it. And Kiryu comes up with some pretty good stuff. I actually like what he said here. The first one being, Somiya has no authority. He is the second in command to a acting chairman. The only person that could actually confirm an alliance would be Daigo Dojima. And then one of the things that was brought up was there's also another guy at the meeting, which was the head of the Yomi Alliance. His son is also, he's not part of the Yakuza, but he's part of like the shipbuilding business. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so.
I think he's like the president of the shipbuilding business or something like that.
Yeah.
But he brings up the fact that because Kiryu's already said that I'm just a civilian, I don't have any authority in the Yakuza. And the guy, and he pipes in and says, well, if you're just a civilian, how could you determine who is allowed to sign this alliance and who's not?
Yeah, how can you call it a betrayal if you're not part of it?
Exactly. And Kiryu's like, I'm sorry, but I have no authority here. I am not part of this anymore. I'm not going to be a witness to this. And so they're like, okay, fine. We'll drop you off at shore. And that's pretty much it. After that, I think we go back to headquarters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we meet back up with Kiyomi, who finally tells us who she believes could be. And this is just a could be. The father of little baby Haruto. And that is and I can't remember the guy's name. Who was the name?
Tatsukawa.
And they're like, Kiryu's of course like, who's Tatsukawa? And the other guys sitting around are like, oh, you think it's Tatsukawa? Who the hell's that? Huh. He was once part of the Hitose. Is it Hitose?
Hirose?
Hirose clan. Or Hirose family. But he moved away, started a business in Camarocho. I can't remember what the business was. Or I think he said he was just going to go make it rich in Camarocho.
Yeah, like was it Kiryu that said, "Oh, what was he like a musician or something?" And they're like, "No, he figured he'd get rich if he went there."
Yeah. And he's like, "Well, why do you think it's him?" She's like, "Because he was on the phone talking about getting rid of it, and I'm thinking he was talking about the baby when Haruka found out she was pregnant."
Yeah.
And he's like, "You talking about like an abortion?" She's like, "Possibly. I don't know. I didn't hear the other side of the conversation." So, I guess all roads lead back to Camarocho. I guess we're going to go back to Camarocho and see if we can find this guy. Who knows where he's at or what kind of business he's in.
Yeah, which is interesting because there's been so many things that have happened while you're here in Hiroshima with the Yakuza, with starting a family, with starting all these things, and all of that feels like it's intentionally being put on hold now as you go back to kind of your original reason for being there in the first place, which is, to find the father. But obviously these things are not going to leave you alone, so it's funny that you take such a big step away from that stuff, but I'm sure it'll be back pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where I stopped.
Yep, me too. End of 5. We got a good lead, so we're ready to keep looking.
There you go. And I do not have any emails, which that's okay. But if you would like to send us an email, it's drew@ztgd.com. You can also tweet to us. I am at DMLFury and Matt is at REMGS. The podcast itself is at ZTGD Phoenix Down. But I'm so far I'm enjoying the crap out of this game. I think it is way better than 5 and 4.
Yeah, one of the things I'm still really liking about this is that it feels it's obviously a lot more polished,
yes,
right, than the last few. Certainly, it's got everything it needs to have in it. It feels grounded, it feels real, and I like the fact that with every game they're not necessarily coming up with a crazy new like Japan destroying threat, right? Like this is very much built off the last game. It's very much about Kiryu and his family and friends and group of people that he's interacting with, and it's a crisis in their lives, but it makes it more personal, almost that it's not a giant clan on clan issue, although that's here simmering in the background as we've seen in this last chapter.
Yeah.
It's not really the impetus for the game so far, and I like that kind of juxtaposition. You've got the personal interactions, and then you've also got this looming, very large clan on clan issue to deal with. It's a good balance, I think.
Yeah. So my question is for you. I'm gonna pull a Jay or a Chad here. By the end of this game, does Kiryu is he still involved in the Yakuza? Does he take over something?
I still don't think so. I think he's got to retire into the sunset.
I would assume so, but obviously we know that he will be back.
Yep.
I would say yes, he probably retires to Morning Glory and just takes care of the kids there. I don't know exactly when Like a Dragon 2 or whatever it's called now. I guess it's Like a Dragon 2 or Yakuza 8 : Like a Dragon 2. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know exactly when that takes place, but Kiryu definitely looks a lot older. I mean, at this point, Kiryu's 43, 44?
Yep. Getting to be an old man.
Yep.
As everyone likes to remind him.
So yeah, that's right. But yeah, I'm thinking. I'm thinking he's going to retire.
Yeah, I still think so.
And then probably get dragged back in Like a Dragon.
He creates a bit of balance and then leaves.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have said before the reveal, I don't think there's any way he dies. Because I think they'd want to keep it open that they bring him back.
Well, from what I understand, in Like a Dragon, like the one that's already out, he does not make an appearance at all. Really? I am not sure, but I have it on good authority that he doesn't make an appearance. I think they may reference him.
Yeah, still obviously same universe. He's still a part of it, but just not directly.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like Ichiban is the new character in Like a Dragon. Is he part of the Tojo clan? I don't even know if he's part of the Tojo clan or if he's part of some other clan. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, good question.
So I guess we'll find out when we get to it. But yeah, as far as this goes, I'm still really enjoying this game. So I want to do some more of the side stuff. I want to find that baseball team stuff. I want to find it.
I want to do that, and I want to do a lot more of the clan leadership stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So that's definitely something to look forward to. I would say we're going to try to get through 3 more chapters for the next recording. So we'll do 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah.
But that sounds pretty good to me. But yeah, like I said, send those emails in. I know we've had some weird recording schedules and stuff like that, but we're going to try and get back on track. And I know Matt has said that he's probably going to do NaNoWriMo this year. So I will probably do a game with someone else for that month. And then in December, we may put Ready Player 2 on hold. But in December, we definitely want to do a Nightmare Before Christmas like we always do. So we'll try and get a horror game in there. Matt's been eyeing and thinking of Alone in the Dark, the new Nightmare. So we may end up playing that, going a little old school. But that's going to be it for us. I do appreciate everybody listening. Until next time, I am Drew.
And I'm Matt.
And we are out of here. You guys have a great week, and we will be back next week with more Yakuza 6.